Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, I see you again today, and then we are going to discuss our final topic regarding the complex sentences, especially on the discussion of dependent clause on noun clause. Yes, that's our topic today, noun clause. We are going to talk about the definition of noun clause. We also are going to talk about the characteristic of noun clause. We are going to talk about the example of noun clause, and we are going to talk about the connector of noun clauses. So there are 4 outlines that we are going to discuss today. Now let's start from the first one, the definition of noun clauses. Right. So what is a noun clause? So noun clause is a dependent clause consisting of a connector, subject, and verb that replace the word noun in the sentence. Remember, when we talk about adjective clause, it is meant to clarify or it is meant to explain about the noun. But in this noun clause, this dependent clause is functioning to replace the noun instead of clarifying the noun. So you will not find the noun that is explained by the noun clause here. So that is the function of noun clause. And that is also the definition of noun clause. And then what are the characteristics of noun clause? There are 5 characteristics of noun clause. The first one is that noun clause can function as the subject of a sentence. Of course, because it is noun. So noun clause can also function as the subject of a sentence. And the second characteristic is that it also can act as the direct or indirect object of a verb. Or in other words, it can also function as the object of a verb. And the third one is that noun clause can serve as the complement of a copular verb. And the fourth one is that noun clauses can function as the object of a preposition. And finally, noun clauses are often used to report or convey what someone said or thought. Or in other words, noun clause is often used in indirect speech, not in direct speech. So those are the 5 characteristics of noun clause. What are they? First, it can function as noun. It can function as subject. It can function as object or indirect object. It can also function as complement. It can also function as object of preposition. And finally, it can also function as a convey to someone's report or function as indirect speech. Right. Now, what are the examples of noun clause? So the first one is, I asked whether he would attend the meeting. If you notice, whether he would attend the meeting here is the noun clause. And it functions as the object of the sentence. Can we change this into other noun? Of course. For example, I asked it, or I asked about that, or I asked this problem, for example. Because this noun clause actually functions as replacing the noun in the object. And the second example is that who she invited is not clear yet. Who she invited is functioning as noun clause with the role as the subject of the sentence. I want to take a note on this one. Some people say who she invited as something very common in informal conversation. But in a more formal occasion or in a writing style, it is supposed to be written as whom she invited instead of who. But actually the use of who or whom here are both correct. So who she invited here function as the noun clause as a subject. If you see, there is a connector who, there is a subject she, and there is a verb invited. And the last example is that she believes that she can succeed. That she can succeed function as the object. So the word she believes that she can succeed contains of noun clause. That she can succeed here has the connector that, has the subject she, and has the verb that succeed. So this is a correct noun clause. She believes that she can succeed. As I mentioned before, this noun clause that she can succeed function as the object. So you see that from this example, noun clauses can function as subject, as an object of preposition, as an object of copular verb, and others. And let's talk about the connector or the conjunction of noun clauses, because if you do not know the conjunction, you cannot create noun clauses. So the first one is that. You use that if you want to make an indirect speech from positive statement. For example, I know about it. I know that he's tired. Can be like that. And the other connector is whether. Normally we use whether as the connector if the original question is from the interrogative sentence. And also if. So we use whether or if as the connector if the original clauses is from interrogative sentence. And we can also use WH word, or we can also use question word such as what, why, where, how. Something like, I know why you are angry. Why here is the connector. And the last one is whoever, whatever, whichever, whenever, wherever, and then however. So those are the connectors of noun clause. So I guess that's conclude our discussion regarding our complex sentence. So in the other video, I've already explained about the complex sentences. I've already also explained about the clauses, and also I've already explained about the independent clauses and dependent clauses. And finally, we are talking about the noun clauses as part of the dependent clauses. So that's all for the discussion. I hope you understand about what I explained. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.